Impression the game you get out with what you put into it. It's like a walk of life. If you're good enough, go out and get it, no more about it.
But not so much control in the centre of the field from Kilkenny as Richie Bennett sends it high and over the bar.
Your mother sends you down to the shop for a pound's worth of goods and she gives you 50 pence. You can't get the pound's worth of goods, can you?
Just about kept in. Oh, well done, Shawty Buckley. To do that to Tommaso Shea. He deserves to score from here. One of the highlights of the Sunday game.
Limerick went out there from the word go today. No more about it. They made all the running, that was it. Put the ball over the bar and the back of it, and that's it. No ifs, no buts.
Is there much time left? We have a couple of injuries. Here comes Kieran Carey. Carey leading the charge of the right brigade. 45 metres out. There's a chance to score. He's put it high.
There's no sympathy in this game for anybody.
Hello, and you're very welcome to episode 305 of Treaty Talk. It's Tom Clancy, as ever, joined by Matt O'Callaghan of the Weekly Observer and Vale Star newspapers. Matt, another hectic weekend as we head towards the end of 2024. You were out at plenty of action over the weekend.
Yeah, there was plenty of action, and you know it was mainly a weekend dedicated to football, and I got to see a couple of the finals, and I got to see a Munster clubs game in Camogie as well, you know. So, but there was an awful lot on, and there were 3 hurling matches in the Munster Championship coming in immediately a week after the county finals in Limerick. But I'll be talking about that at greater length later, because I think there's something inherently wrong, you know, that fellas win a county final on a Sunday, and you know, it's all about celebrating winning. You know, it's as nearly as important as playing the game, and to think that they're being deprived of that, like that they're being catapulted into another competition straight away, like I think there's something inherently wrong. But we'll talk about it in greater detail in the context of the 3 Limerick teams going out. Yeah,
that's it. We'll have plenty of camogie, hurling. Talk about the All-Stars. We'll have a bit of LGFA thrown in there, but I think, as Matt says, football was certainly top of the billing last weekend. We had a number of finals. We had the senior, we had the intermediate, with Premier Junior A, and indeed the Junior B finals. The Junior A final continues to be deferred, subject to an objection, but we'll see how that one plays out. But we'll start at the very top, and we're delighted to say we're joined by 2 men who were in the winners' enclosure last weekend, Mikey and Davy Lyons. Lads, how's things? County champions for a 4th time at senior level with Adare. How does that sound?
Yeah, feels great. Delighted to get over the line now, in fairness, Tom. Obviously after the last 3 years. So, yeah, just over the moon really now to finally got the 4th one there the other day. Yeah,
and Davy, a hard enough battle with Father Cases, but I suppose the fact you came out of the traps fairly lively, you know, you always had the lead, which is a good way to be in a final. But you know, it was good to put your stamp on things early on, especially as Mikey says, after the tough tests and the tough heartbreaks of the last 3 seasons.
Yeah, to be fair, I think we had a similar enough start against Newcastle, so we targeted a fast start again, and thankfully we got it. I suppose we looked at their kickouts and stuff like that, and we tried to target their kickouts. It's one of their strengths, so that's actually why we went after it, because if you give them the ball, they're going to get through. So we said if we can stop from primary possession, at least we can be in the front foot. So thankfully with a quick start, and we got a nice goal.
I think you're doing him a disservice. It was more than a nice goal. It was a brilliant goal. In fairness to him.
We don't want to be giving him a big head or anything like.
Okay, right. We'll lead off on the
championship. You know, if I say so to a fella Everton fan, you know.
Is that why you got the photo, Matt? Was it because you're Everton fans?
Oh yeah. No, it was the box insisted in it. Yeah. No, but seriously, Mikey, how important was it? This year, you sort of, we were expecting, and we've seen it over the last number of years, that they just cruise through at their own pace through the group stages. But this year, due mainly to injuries, you had more than a few problems. Lost to Mungret, was fighting, I suppose, for a draw on the last day against the Piercy. But you know, did it afford you an opportunity when you got your players back to just peak at the right time? Because certainly your last two performances, I thought were excellent. I've seen your last three games, and I don't want to glibly discount the game against Galtee Gales because of the conditions, which weren't fair to either side. But certainly in the semi-final and the final this year, it seemed to all come together for you.
Yeah.
Oh.
And yeah, we started with a good result the first day against Moline, Matt, and then the second day against Mungus. I thought we played away okay in the first half. In the second half, we just didn't perform, and I think that's what probably caught us the most. Was like we weren't really pushed about the result against Mungus. We obviously wanted to win it, but it was more the performance of the second half. That's what probably just left us down a small bit. But we knew as the championship went on, we would get stronger and we would get better if the boys came back and just made us that bit stronger. And thankfully we did. Like as you said, against the Galtee Gales game, it wasn't really a great football game. The conditions were just totally unfair on both teams, and it was just a case of like roll up the sleeves and whoever comes out on top here comes out on top. And then we had 2 weeks very good training leading into the Newcastle West game, and we just felt like that was a good time to play them. We just felt like that we were in a good spot then, and then thankfully we got over the line, and then it was the same the last day. It was just all about just getting over the line the last day, and thankfully we did.
Davy, I would say that, and I've seen a lot of it there this year, I've seen a lot of it there over the years. I thought last Sunday's first half was as good as you have played for a while.
Yeah, I think you're right, to be fair. I think we had a very good start. The first half was excellent, but I think against Newcastle, I think our first half was good as well, in fairness. So, yeah, we had a good start. In fair, a lot of boys were getting up the field there and stuff like that. I think David Conley went up the field there at one stage and I thought he was going to shoot off his left leg, but thankfully sense prevailed there and he didn't. But we were all getting forward and stuff like that, and that's just where we are really. Like, it's not just forwards that are scoring, it's everyone get forward. And I think you're right. Yeah, I think it was probably the best first half we played in a long time.
And David, just to talk about your management, I know Harry's come back and he's been at the helm for so many successes in the last few years, but Maurice Horan with him as well. I seem to think that he's very, very highly thought of in Adare. I'm sure when he was with Limerick as well, people were highly complimentary of his work. I mean, what did the two of them together, I suppose, bring to you that is that little bit different?
I think the most important thing is that we've worked with them before. Like we know exactly what they're about. They know exactly what we're about. I suppose we know how Maurice wants to play. He knows how we want to play. So there's not that kind of period where you're kind of figuring out how he wants us to play. We know straight away when he came in what we're going to be doing. But like, it's just their professionalism is just unbelievable, to be fair. Like, we don't have to worry about anything really. Like, we just turn up training, as I said a couple of weeks ago, and everything's there for us. So yeah, but there's more to them as well. Like, you've Pat O'Connor, Ed on, Fernand Keller, and the main man Tommy Reid as well is there. So there's a good band there together, in fairness.
Yeah, and I did see on your program, and I think Matt was maybe critiquing it, to have 44, Mikey, to have 44 named on the panel on the day. Now, I don't know where they all talked out, but you actually had to go very deep into your panel this year. I know yourself had to kind of bide your time as a substitute, Mikey, and look for the impact as you did on Sunday, but you really did have to go deep this year. I think someone said to me you used 28, 29 players in the what was it, eight games. Like, you really had to cast the net a bit wider than normal, because some teams can go through these championships using 22, 23 players, but you had to go a lot deeper because of injuries, and that probably stood to you then as the championship went on. It
did, like, and I think it's great having the big numbers of training and stuff like that. Okay, at the start of the year, our junior team probably felt the effects of it, because we burnt a lot of lads at the start of the year, and then unfortunately they lost out on a bit of football towards the end of the year because they couldn't fulfill the team and stuff like that. So, but like at the start of the year, like, there was lads getting their chance and they really stuck with their hands up and took it, like, you know, like Stephen Flynn there made his debut in the Moline game. Unfortunately, he picked up an injury later on in the year that kept him out in the year. You and Michael O'Mahony that was flying it during the league stage, picked up a shoulder injury, missed the last 3 games. But like, I suppose it's more than a 20-man game now, isn't it? Like, for training and everything like that, you need 30. You need to be competing against each other to set good standards at training and stuff like that to drive on. Like, I know we'll be playing A and B games at training and stuff like that. Like, and it does be competitive, like, because like a lot of lads, like if you go through the tip boys that came on last week, like Keane Sparling, Jack Fitz, both started the county final last year. Obviously I played a couple in the last few years. Like Mike Southgate is pushing. He played a couple of league championship games during the year, and like we got Mike Keane back, Mike Mackey back, and James Gahan back after the hurling, and they've really come in and drove it on a bit as well. So like it's good to have the numbers because you can do a lot more training and stuff like that. But look, it is a 25-30 man panel game now like that. So, and we're just blessed to have the players that we have at the moment to be able to do it.
Davy, coming back this year, and Mikey touched on it there a while ago, after, would say, 3 years losing in the county final, there had to be some sort of element of doubt within yourselves. And, you know, was that doubt there coming into the county final? Or did the fact that Harry was back at the helm kind of sort of dwarf all that sort of thoughts?
Look, I think it has to really pass your mind. I suppose you do a 3 in a row, there's always going to be a bit of doubt there. But in fairness, when Harry and them came back, the first thing he said is just forget about that. He said, look, it's a new year. We'll try to put our own stamp on it. And exactly what we did, to be fair. But I suppose we came down to the last couple, or when I think Casey's got it back to 2 points, I suppose it's kind of going through your mind again. Here we go again. But I suppose in fairness, I think you learn more. We learned a lot in the last 3 years. Obviously, that's not the way you want to learn, but we learned a lot in the last 3 years, and I actually think it stood to us on Sunday. We could have bottled it again, we could have crumbled under pressure, but in fairness, like when boys needed to stand up, they all stood up, and I think it really has stood to us.
Mikey, relegated in 2015, promoted as intermediate champions in 2016, senior champions 2017, 2018, senior champions 20. Defeated finalists in 21, 22 and 23, and now county champions again. What's the secret of this? Throwing 2 under 21, Premier under 21 successes. What's the secret? Or is it just that, a secret?
We won't give away too much now, but no, I just think, look, I think every so often, I think a generation of players come through each club, and like you have to make the most of what they do. Like, you know, like you look at the team there, like the likes of Davy, Dave Conley, Huey, Robbie, Dave Conley, Shane Costello, all these lads, like, you know, like they're very good footballers, and it just happened to come through at a really good time for us. Yes, we got relegated in 2015, I think was it, and we deserved to get relegated. We were clinging on there for 13, 14. I think we had a couple of relegation finals, and it was always going to come. It was going to come, like, because we lost a lot of very good players, the likes of Conor Fitz, Stephen Lavin, all those lads retired, and we just had to somewhere just bring all through the young lads. And thankfully, when we went down intermediate, we weren't down there for too long. We came straight back up, and I think like that gave it the boys an awful lift, and it gave them belief that we can actually go on and do great things as well like that. So I think that was a big thing. Like I know people talk about the seniors, but like that intermediate championship was a big one for us as well as a group, because it gave the boys the belief that they can play adult football, and they were good enough to play adult football. And then it was like the time they won the 21s, they won the 21s B, and then the following year they went up Premier and won the 21s Premier. So it was just a lot of like small things like that gave them the belief that they could go on and win. But look, did we all think that we could be in 7 finals in 8 years? No, we didn't. Like that. There's no point saying we did. Like so, but it's great. It's great, and look, hopefully it continues for another bit. Like, but we know it's not going to continue forever either. So we're just trying to make the most of it while we can.
Yeah, Davy, I think you've probably been involved in all those successes, have you? Or certainly thereabouts anyway.
Yeah, I think I was involved. I don't think I played 2007. I missed 121s, and I didn't play in 2017 final. I think I was injured. So I'd say between the two of us now we missed every county finals with injuries.
Okay, but there's been a nice core that we'll say of that 21s team. I know it was the same. I would have played in that championship as well. I think to 2015, under 21 Premier. I think did you snatch it off in the Pearse League? I think it was.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, and
Yeah,
like
insane.
And they
Gail
were
Brown,
good
yeah.
in Kelly Brown.
that was
Yeah.
the cohort.
Snatch is a hard word there, no, Tom.
He won it.
Yeah,
but I suppose that became the core of the team, certainly for the immediate few years after. Like, you know, like I know Jack English didn't line out in the final of the weekend, but guys around your own age, his age, you know, that was the core of the team there. That I suppose, as Mikey says, became the adult players and really, I suppose, drove the standards and kept them high for such. Obviously, you're continuing to do so, but you know, you really got the standard up back to where you wanted it to be.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'd be interesting to look back at that team and look at the team now and see how many there's a crossover. And I think Mikey was actually the manager of the 21s, and in fairness, so there's a bit now. He's by the time he's starting to retire, and to be honest, he's starting to slow down. He's only getting 10 or 15 minutes in the legs, but I know, in fairness, yeah, the crossover between that 21s team and now is, I think you're dead on. It's probably the core of the team. But as we had a good few of the older fellas as well, like Billy Supple was there, Mikey was there, and Dio Sexton, a few, Makaki, like, but. And then you add in all the youths, like, so. In fairness, we had a good mixer, but Mikey's the only one holding on. I don't know if he ever gets he doesn't seem to cop on to that. He's the only one hanging on.
Yeah. Well, he's right. He's right too. Another medal in the back pocket. But talk to us about Munster. So, I mean, it's, to me, it maybe speaking from the outside looking in, is it a little bit of unfinished business? Obviously, you didn't get even to into it the last time in the COVID year. It wasn't allowed, of course. But before that, maybe it didn't really do yourselves justice in terms of maybe didn't carry on the true form that you had in the Limerick Championship. And maybe, you know, it's a tough test going to Ennis this Sunday, but you know, it's probably something you really want to see. Can you crack the code of this time around?
Yeah, I think you're right. To be fair, it's something that's been bothering us for a while. I think we played the only one good performance we had. I think it was in the intermediate. We beat the Cork out, not sure their names, but then we lost the final to Kenmare. But in the senior side of things, we have not been good. Like, there's no two ways about it, really. It's something that doesn't sit well with us. But I suppose Sunday, look, we don't know much about Airog, to be honest, and I think that can be a good thing, really. We can just focus on our own game if we need to. I'm sure they're a good outfit. If you win any county championship, you are a good outfit, in fairness. But yeah, it's something that has been mentioned over the last couple of years, that we'd like to give a good performance in Munster. Like, if we wanted to put in a good performance. If you're good enough in the day, you're good enough in the day. But if you're not, you're not. But at least we can walk off and say, right, we had a good go at that, and see where it takes us.
And
Mikey, Owen Costello, in his acceptance speech, which was excellent last Sunday evening, he paid fulsome tribute to Shane English. Talk to us about Shane and what he means to your club, what he meant to your club. God rest him.
He meant a lot to our group, Matt. To be fair, like myself and Davy grew up in the estate here, and Jack English lived right behind us. So like we would have known Shane all our lives, like, you know, and Jack is a great young fella as well. Like, you know, I huge respect for Jack and stuff like that. And Shane used to be at training every night. You know, he, as Owen said, your night in training like that. Any issue, he'd be the first in, sure, he'll sort you out. He was just a real gentleman, to be honest. He was just a nice man, like, you know, he was always in good form. He was great to have around the group. He's badly missed, to be honest. Like, you know, we do think about him. We play a lot, like, and just thankfully for himself and stuff like that. Like, we got another one over the line, because he would have been the proudest man in Rathkeale that night if we'd won, to be honest. He used to love going watching the football and stuff like that. So we're just delighted to finally get one over the line for him as well.
Davy, not too very long ago, Adare were a hurling stronghold. It now seems to have morphed into a football stronghold. Is there some reason, or how did that come about? Or is it, you know?
Not sure, really, to be honest. In fairness, there's a good crossover between both. There's a good to be fair, everyone, I suppose you can look at it and say there's not much of a band there, but I don't know where that comes from, to be fair. I'd say we probably 8 or 9 that play hurling and football. So I don't know, really. It's just, as Mikey said a while ago, I suppose we got a good group of footballers coming through, and obviously we're not great at the hurling when we were younger, so we stuck with the football. But look, I'm sure they're going to be back up again. They'll be good for young players coming through. They won the 16s and minors today. So there's going to be no fear. Like, they're going to go nowhere, to be fair. But they'll be coming back up, I've no doubt.
Tom?
Yeah, and so, lads, if we can go back to Sunday and Airog and Ennis, the fact that Newcastle West, obviously they trumped you a few years ago, their run to the final, beating Clonmel Commercials, does that give you, I suppose, belief that the Limerick Championship has sharpened the tools of the team that comes out, and they've paved the way, in fairness to them, and they were very unlucky wasn't it Mallow in that Munster final as well. They've shown that it is doable. Like, I mean, there was probably a time where Limerick teams would have been looked upon as cannon fodder in Munster Championships, but there's a real possibility if you get things right on Sunday and even beyond that, the Munster Championship it's not out of reach. But Mikey, maybe.
I do think like that we're going to go down and give it our best shot and stuff like that. And look, as David said, we're only going to go down there and try to get a performance in, and if the performance is good enough, you go over the line. But like, you do have to take some sort of hope from Newcastle West in the last couple of years. Like, they really, really went after it, like, and they caused a lot of teams trouble down there in the Munster and stuff like that. So we'll be looking at that and saying, look, if they can do it, we can do it, because between ourselves and Newcastle, like, like over the last couple of years, they've proven that, like, that there's not much between the both teams. I think maybe in 17, 18, when we were probably in Munster, I think we were probably a bit naive and very immature. I'm just hoping that we're a bit more mature and we've came along a bit more as a team this year, and we can go down there and we can just give it a good go. Like, like as Davey said there, like the last couple of times we've been in there, we've left ourselves down a small bit. So, and we know like that we're representing people over there, our families and stuff like that. And we want to do Limerick football proud as well, because like they obviously had a rough year in the county, getting relegated and stuff like that. So we just want to go down and do them sort of proud as well, the people in Limerick as well, and the football people in Limerick as well, because there's a lot of good football people in Limerick, and we want to go down and really represent them as well.
Yeah, and not to dwell too much on the structures and all that, but it has left ye and I think Raquel as well at intermediate and the three hurling teams last weekend in a bit of a predicament in terms of a week. And Matt mentioned it at the start. It's not ideal, I'm sure, as a player. Even if you weren't to celebrate winning the county, which, I mean, who wouldn't? But even a week between such a big game in terms of a county final and what that takes out of the energy levels, and then, okay, you do put the celebrating on top of it, but it left you in a predicament. Is there something that needs to change here? Do we need to look at the group format in terms of these 5 group games? Is that too many for clubs, or is it about right? I know it's, you have the luxury now of being in the Munster Championship, but nevertheless you'd like to give it its utmost respect and give it a fair crack. So Davey, what do you think of that situation this week?
Yeah, I think it is tough. If I know Matt touched on it a while ago, and it is very, like, celebrating is just as important as playing the game, to be fair. Like, because you're training all year, and when you get to win something, you want to celebrate, in fairness. Like, so, like, we did celebrate it hard, like, and even at that, we were probably reined in a small bit, like, in fairness, even Harry Gleeson told Brendan Carmody not to go to choose the Windsor, which is a big thing to do. So, in fairness, we didn't even probably get to celebrate as hard as we wanted, because in the back of your mind, like, we're training tonight. There's probably going to be a tough enough session as well. So I think there's something has last week. Like, it is very tough. It's something that definitely has to be looked at. I don't know, could they put maybe the Limerick Championship be ran off earlier, or just push out the Munster by a week or something? I don't know, but I don't think it's all player welfare now. I don't think it's right, to be honest.
Mikey, what are your views, apart from the structure, on the standard of Limerick football at the moment, as we saw on the standard of the Limerick Football Championship?
Yeah, I think it's getting better, Matt. Like, you see Mungotisha, they really came up and threw the spanner into the works. Like, a very young side. I was really impressed when we played them in the Skeeton that day. Like, I thought Pat Ranahan really set up really well, to be fair to them. Like, you're going to have your 40 cases who are just a good footballing team anyway, like to play the right way, have very good talent. I do think they will get over the line soon enough as well. Like, Newcastle West are obviously still arguably the best team in it. Like, we played them this year. Like, they were missing Ian Corbett, who's probably the best player in Limerick for the last 10 years, to be fair to him. Like, so, and then you have your other teams, like, like, you have your Oulas that did quite well this year, and you have your Kalima Palaces probably just went through a bit of a bad spell with injuries and stuff like that this year. I know Ballylanders and Ballysteam were in relegation final, but Rathkeil coming up next year, I think, will be a big booster as well. I think they're a good side. Like, they have some right good players as well. So I do think it's going to get stronger. I think the standard is getting better. It's just it probably needs to be, I don't know, like fair in the way like that. It's like only V2, like I don't think there's enough, promoting it, like, in that sense like that. Like in fairness, you do an awful lot of work in it, but look, it's got to take time. Look, it's not the hurling side of things, which is totally understandable too. Like, but I do think that the club is getting better. I do, and I think like that. I do think a couple of clubs are closing the gap a small, but obviously ourselves and Newcastle have been probably there for the last couple of years. But I think Casey's, Mungot, I think Moline like probably had a year off or whatever like that, but their numbers are too big.
Have we lost you?
We've lost, yeah. I think
Yeah,
so.
sorry. Slight signal drop. 1 second now, lads. We'll bring the lads back in there in a second. But yeah, Matt, Rakil, he mentioned there being a good addition, I think, for 2025.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I saw him. I saw him last week, and I would honestly think, and I saw him in 2013, in the final against Dula, when they put on one of the finest displays of football that I've seen for a long time in Limerick. And I think they scored 4-17 on the day and winning the county final, which is absolutely phenomenal. But I honestly think, that was a really good Rathkeale team. And the question you asked me, I think that Rathkeale are better equipped for senior football now than they were 11 years ago.
Right.
Because when they came up 11 years ago, they came up with a team that was full of running, and I thought lacked a bit of physique that's necessary for senior football. But I think this year, the team that I saw beat Galway last Sunday, I would hold out much better hope for them that they will be able to mix it, because it's a big step up. It's a big step up physically and otherwise. And I have to say I was impressed with them. And you must, if there's a disparity in any competition, I suppose it's in the intermediate football championship, and that to me is a problem going forward, because we've discussed it ad nauseum here, Tom, about your second most important football competition, and the last 2 years, in each of the last 2 years, it has been subjected to walkovers. It should not be happening at this level, and it demeans the integrity of the competition. But I think Galway, Drumcolor, Bradford, Claughaun, and champions Rathkeale, I thought they were in a different level from the other 8. No, I think it was very, very clear-cut, and like we expressed fears at the start of this year, and I don't know whether you'd agree with us, lads, it would be extremely bad for Limerick football if we had the same 4 semi-finalists this year as we've had for the last couple of years. Now, and, part of it now is due, like, did Mungot break through? They did. How much of it was Monaleen falling off the ledge? So I'm still a bit worried about it. I'd have to say, Mikey, that like you Kildare Palace closing the gap, then they weren't able to maintain it. I still think there's 2 tiers within the group, like there is in the intermediate.
Yeah, I think like a couple of teams this year, I think Matt will probably hit with injuries and boys going away and stuff like that. I think that's why the gap, like I know Kildare were really down a lot of numbers this year.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like Moline, if you lose a player of caliber of Brian Donovan, like it's going to be a huge loss. I think that's why they probably fell off a small, but I think they'll probably miss 1 or 2 more. I know Luke Murphy didn't play against us, and Donny gone to Salt Hill, and so you lose 3 players that caliber from Moline as well. There's going to be a small bit of a drop off there. But Rathkeale, I do think, are well capable of coming up and causing a bit of a stir in the scene. They have good pace about them. They have good footballers on that side as well. It's hard to know. a lot of young fellas these days are getting a travelling bug, and you can't give out them for wanting to go away for a year or so as well. So like you actually don't know what's at the championship you'll get till you really see maybe in the next year in the group stage to see what teams players have. Like I know a couple of teams are losing players and stuff like that. A couple of teams might be getting boys back and stuff like that. So it's hard to know. I don't know. Do you split it like the senior A and senior B, like the hurling, and have a couple of top teams? I don't know.
Yeah. You know, it's fine for me sitting here criticizing it or anybody criticizing it. But what is the alternative?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think even in our group stage is like there was very competitive games for us. Even all the 5 teams that were in it. So like there's not that much of a gap. Like if you look at the scores, I don't think there was any hammerings as such, really, to be fair.
Because they were down bodies, Davy.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
The bigger worry I'd have for the senior championship at the moment is the 2 rounds that have been played in June and July, is because teams are like skeleton teams for some cases. I know Monleen, for example, I know the first night I didn't recognise a lot of the names of players who were playing because there was 6 or 7 on J1s and stuff like that. You know, it's that time of the year like where, you know, if you have an 18 or 19-year-old, good chance to be on holidays or J1 and all the rest of it. You know, it is, and you see it, and I think maybe that's where the intermediate has fallen down as well. As there's lads there that maybe they're 50-50 on hurling and football, or maybe 60-40, and the first couple of rounds mightn't be on their radar, and suddenly, you know, they've just finished up the leagues and they've lads, you've championship next week. It kind of, that's probably affecting it as well. And I know in the lower grades it's definitely a problem, you know, of those 2 rounds. And look, I don't see where you'd fit them in, because we have to play between the different codes. You have to have 5 group games, quarterfinal, semi-final, final. So that's 8. That's 16 rounds of games, you know, and you're trying to fit them in, and, you know, not clashing with All Ireland final weekend and all the rest of it. It's very hard. So the one suggestion I'd have is maybe we condense the championship down into, you know, I think Cork have 12 senior teams, but it's 3 groups of 4, you know, so it's a bit more cutthroat in terms of, there's probably the same amount of teams coming through, but you know, it's more fighting for position rather than maybe the Limerick one, where there's a lot more room for error, but maybe to get through. But look, lads, we're not here maybe to really break that down. It's a busy weekend of Munster action, Davy. I'll put it to you, this Mallow Saturday is one on the horizon. You probably have hoped, the 2 of you probably have hoped to lead Mungret ladies football there, but in your absence, the torch has been passed, and in fairness to them, they got over the line in the Limerick Intermediate Championship at long last, and they're now in the Munster final. So a big weekend for all connected there.
Yeah, to be fair, they're doing a lot better than me, Mikey, than we were over Manuel. So no, in fairness, I was at the final, and they're fully deserved. To be fair, they're a really good fit team, and then they went down to Abidorney down in Kerry, which was a very, very good game. To be fair, it was one of the best games I've been at all year. Look, I don't think they'll have no fear going into Sunday, to be fair. So speaking to Megan and stuff, I don't think they've any fear really to be going in. Like I'd say, they probably don't know much about each other, as I said a while ago, which can be a great thing going into a game, because now it was like everyone is analysing everyone, and you're kind of more worried about what they're going to do instead of what you're going to do. But yeah, I think to be fair, they're a very good outfit. They play nice football, in fairness.
I agree totally with you there, Davy. I saw him in the county final, and not any really put it up to him, but they had the response. And you're totally right about worrying about the opposition. Who you've got to worry about and focus is on yourselves. You know, it's foolish to be putting too much focus on the opposition, in my opinion. And you know, the opposition, it's one of the things you can control. The only thing you can control is yourself.
Yeah, I think in fairness to Morris and Harry, and like we'd obviously do our video analysis on teams we're playing, but it's 5 to 10 minutes and that's it. That's it. We're done. That's it. We'll look at kickouts, look at the main players. We'll say, right, your man marking X, Y, and Z. But then it's all about ourselves, to be fair. And I think that's important, because you can get bogged down in other teams, and when you go out to the game, you're worrying about this fella, worrying about that fella. But I think you can just overthink it and stuff like that. So I think you can't look into too much, to be fair. Obviously, you're going to have players that you need to stop as well, and that's fair enough. But I don't think you can look into too much, because you're going to get bogged down.
Yeah, okay. Lads, I think we've covered plenty there. I'll be wishing, I suppose, as I said, Megan and the rest of the Munger team the best in Mallow on Saturday against Middleton, and hopefully a good trip for them, and indeed a good trip for yourselves as Ennis on Sunday afternoon. Congratulations on the 4th one. hopefully another competitive championship next year. We won't say we wish the G win it again now, but hopefully we'll see some very, very exciting games in the Irish Fire Products Championship next season. Lads, best of luck Sunday, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks very much. Thanks.
I would like to concur with everything that Tom said there, lads, and thanks a million for coming on. Delighted to have you on.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, lads.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Okay, Slán go full. Okay. That's Mikey and Davy Lyons, of course, Matt.
Yeah,
we mentioned
two wonderful servants to sport.
Whatever the code,
And to be it men's or ladies football, they've given it to both. Absolutely, and given it to their county as well.
They have, yeah. Well, they've trained now this evening, so they'll get the dirty diesel out. So, Matt, we mentioned it briefly there. The Rakiel obviously celebrating. They have Munster Club as well, of course, on the horizon. But Rakiel celebrating that intermediate success. We both were probably leaning towards Galbally. I did mention Galbally's goal streak last week, and it came to an end.
They had a couple of chances, and they just didn't put them away. But for the most part, I don't think there was anybody that was in Ballygran on Sunday could argue but that the better team on the day won.
Right.
I thought it was a very, very efficient performance, and the performance of Paul White was special, Tom.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, where did Paul come from for the game? He didn't come from Rakiel anyway.
Abu Dhabi.
Well,
where he's been there for the last 6 years. He's teaching out there, but lads, his performance, he must be a dream player for a management, for a manager or management, because management team, once players go inside the white line are, pretty powerless to a certain degree. But I saw Paul White on last Sunday, the leadership he gave and helping lads through the game, and it was just phenomenal,
Yeah.
And another player I was hugely impressed with him. I've been impressed with him now for right through this championship is Barry Coleman.
Yeah, and he was fit and ready for 60 minutes.
He was fit and ready. He got a couple of good points, and he's so solid at around midfield, and the amount of work he does, and he's a member of the Limerick senior football team for a reason, Tom.
Yeah, and he's a permanent fixture now. He's a permanent fixture at wing back. So Cork, is it? I'm just thinking of the venue. Killanhassig, is it? Am I pronouncing it? Kilshannig. Sorry, I'm mixing up my kills.
Outside Mallow, about a couple of miles outside Mallow, around the Drumahan area.
Right. And how do you rate your chances, Matt? It's as the lads say, it's a little bit into the unknown. Now.
It's a very, very strong Kilshannig team that have been there and have been upwardly mobile for the last couple of years in Cork, and they have a couple of Cork seniors like Gavin Creedon and Killian O'Hanlon, and a number of minor or ex-under 20s and minors. Ava O'Hanlon had played under 20. Bill Curtin played under 20, and Bill Curtin won a Sigerson Cup medal with UCC. They're a strong team. They're a strong team, and it's going to be a huge challenge for Rakiel. But if they go with the attitude that we had Mikey Lyons and Davy saying there, that's the way to go. It's going to be all in the day. It's going to be 15 against 15.
Yeah, so that's the senior and intermediate Munster club. Obviously, Adare, as we say, at senior against Ennis, and then Rakiel heading for Cork. The Premier Junior Championship match on Saturday just gone, that went the way of Kappa. So plenty of involvement there for lads who would have won a county title 7 days prior for Croke Kilfinney. They've collected another medal, the likes of Seamus O'Carroll and Cian O'Carroll, two names that jump off the page one. So they had a comfortable enough victory over it. I think they were pillar to post leaders by the looks of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, I haven't seen them playing this year, but all the indications that I'm getting and all the information that I'm getting is that they're as good a junior team as has won the Limerick Championship in a while. They're an exceptionally good junior team. And of course, we say Seamus O'Carroll coming back in the last 2 years is a major boost. And I suppose the emergence of Cian O'Carroll Neville
Both
Bob,
boats, yeah.
you know, as a serious player. Did he get man of the match in the county final, I
He
think?
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
corner forward. Yeah.
And he's extremely good at hurling. And then you get a goalkeeper like Craig McGuinness from St. Kieran's. You
Yeah,
know,
that was a decent transfer, wasn't it?
that was a decent transfer, like, and you know, so like, yeah, I think they will probably, you know, I not probably, I think they will do okay at intermediate. They won't have any worries in consolidating at intermediate. But we missed the glorious derby because of the results on last Sunday. Had Ratkeel lost, we'd have the Ratkeel Kappa Intermediate Football Championship.
Oh yes.
Derby.
Yeah. And there's lads there. There's actually a couple there that play hurling with Croke as well.
Well, Adam Shanager plays hurling with Croke. He plays football with Ratkeel. Now there are a raft of players that play with Croke in hurling. That play football with Kappa. So it would have been a very, very interesting showdown.
We missed out on that one.
we missed out on that now. But
yeah.
Ratkeel, I'm sure, wouldn't agree with you on that now, or possibly Kappa, like. But yeah, it would have been something to look forward to, you know.
Yeah. Well, I suppose Ballysteen and Kappa, they'll be familiar enough with each other there. Yeah, Ballysteen and Kappa will meet anyway. Well, they might meet if they're on the same group, of course. The reward for Kappa, Matt, in the Munster Championship is Fenor of Waterford against Friaries of Kerry. Now, they will be heading to... Sorry, am I right in saying that? Yeah, Fenor of Waterford and Friaries of Kerry play this weekend. Now, I presume Friaries of Kerry will be overwhelming favourites here, and we can probably expect... it's going to be at a Limerick or Kerry venue. Oh, that's right. So it'll be Friaries away as well as where Kappa will be headting to. So, given the Kerry,
hold on a second now. Why will it be a Limerick?
No, sorry. It's a Limerick venue if the Waterford team wins. But look, I won't be holding out much hope for that. That's the way it's set up. But it'll more than likely they'll be heading to Friaries of Kerry, barring an ultimate shock there. But yeah, that's a tough one for them. But look, that's the reward. They've a couple of weeks off. It's the 23rd of November. That's it.
You know, this is new ground for Kappa, although they have been there before. In 2015, I think.
Yeah. Did they get to the final?
I can't remember. I'm just trying to get my head around it. It was 2015.
Yeah.
I don't know, but look, it's not new ground to some of them anyway.
Yes, yeah, but they do have a cohort of younger players. They were beaten by Coolmean of Clare.
That's right.
To 11 points almost this day in 2015, the 7th in fact. So just shy of the anniversary of that one, 9 years on. So they'll be heading back to Munster Club. That was in the quarter final. They're drawn straight into the semi final this time round. So they do get time to celebrate and recover and all the rest of it ahead of that one.
It's the only bye we got in the 6 championships.
Yeah,
it's but of course, you see, we had the blessing of being All-Ireland champions for the last couple of years, which entitled us to automatic bye into the semi-finals of the hurling anyway.
Yeah, the hurling that would have been afforded to Clare this year, which is understandable. So in the hurling championships, Matt, we'll say on the football team, I think. So that's the. Sorry, I forgot to mention the Junior B football championship was concluded as well. St. Kieran's,
huge win for St. Kieran's, and I'm not surprised because I was just sort of following him through and we would get quite a bit of stuff into the paper from the West Limerick Junior B Championship, and like they had the look all year of being a team that were going places. That it's presumptuous to say that they had the look of champions, but that's exactly what they had the look of. But they had a very good win. But you had big players playing in it, like Johnny McCarthy, you had Seamus Mangan, you had Anthony Mulno, you had Jack Ben Hartnett, these are players that have graced the Limerick playing fields for many, many years at senior level, and it's great in the twilight years of their career that they can pick up a county medal, and it's one of the things that's the Junior B competition is for possibly young players trying to make a breakthrough, and also to prolong the careers of players who have given great service, and like the players I mentioned, there are others, Ray Cahill, there are others. You can't argue that these guys have given wonderful service to club and county by extension, and congratulations to them. Congratulations to St. Kieran's. They had a difficult year. They had a difficult year in the hurling, and of course they had a very difficult year with the accident to David Wolf and their club chairman and Mr. Duggan, and we wish the two lads continued recovery. I understand that both are recovering very, very well.
Oh, very good. Yeah. Well said, Matt. Yeah, and I suppose a bit of solace and a bit of silverware around the place never did anyone any harm, I'm sure. So Junior B, Munster Junior B, they'll be heading to Knockadary, won't they?
They'll be heading to Knockadary. And Kildimo Palace will be heading to Rahina, or should I have said that? Am I out of order?
Not at all. We'll come to the hurling in a minute. Now we're going to stay on the big ball. We will come to the hurling, the final county final. We'll come to that, and we'll come to the Munster action. Staying on the ladies' football, Matt, or the football, and we'll move to ladies now. We mentioned Munster there.
We've two teams out this weekend in Munster finals.
Yes, yeah. So
which is absolutely fantastic. Yeah. And Mikey Lyons, of course, Mikey has more than a passing interest in Mungret, like yourself.
Well, Davy has.
Sorry, Davy.
Yeah, his other half. Yeah.
Both of the lads were involved with him in preparing him there in the last number of years. But look, you don't get county finals easy, Tom. Nobody will or Munster finals. Nobody is going to hand them to you. These are going to be the toughest challenges that they have met in their respective provincial championships.
Yeah.
Now, as Davy said there, Mungret, after beating Nicaney in the county final, they went on and beat Abidorney, and you will remember in particular the preparation for the Abidorney game, Tom, wasn't ideal because there was this whole situation with Killiard and Clonmorris Camogie filtering in. They had players playing with Abidorney, and there was a whole question, I suppose, right up until the ball was thrown in, would it be on or would it be off, which is not the ideal preparation, and certainly not the ideal preparation for a team that has absolutely nothing to do with it, which was in this case Mungret. But they put that aside and they qualified for the Munster final, which is a great step. Now they face a very strong Middleton team. Call a spade a spade. They had a massive win over Shamrocks and Waterford. I think they scored something like 5-16 or something in the provincial semi-final. But I don't. For 1 minute, I don't think that Mungret should be reading too much, or if anything at all, to it. They go to Mallow. It's a Munster football final against Middleton. Give it their best shot.
Yeah, no, I think they should take great heart, Matt, from the semi-final win in Abidorney. To go down to a Kerry champion and ripped up the script, as it were, and trumped them. So I think why can't they do the same against a Cork team in Mallow? And it's not home advantage really. It's just the fact that these finals are generally played in Mallow. So it's no,
I don't buy into that at all. It's not home advantage. Middleton probably never set foot in Mallow.
Exactly, yeah. But no, if they give it their best, who knows where it'll take them? It's difficult to know how these teams will stack up. They would be an outright junior team. Middleton obviously just won their championship. Mungret obviously, because of the way the inter-county thing filters through the ladies game, they're representing Limerick at junior level. But no less, it should be a great battle in Mallow on Saturday. And on Sunday, Matt, we have the Munster Intermediate Ladies Final. St. Ailbe's, who've made light work of their last two assignments, but probably a much more stellar test coming their way this weekend.
There's going to be a stellar test, and I'm sure Sheila Minahan and her management team and the girls would have much preferred a tougher test. Like they went to Nadesha, and Nadesha only scored, was it 3 points? Went to Kappa White, and Kappa White only scored 3 points. Was I think between the two games, cumulatively, St. Elby's have scored something like 830. You know, like they've been free scoring, and you know, just to put it in context, and if somebody can explain the rationale to me of this, will you please do so? You had St. Elby's won the Limerick Senior Football Championship.
Yeah,
and they entered the Munster Intermediate Championship. Ballylanders lost the Limerick Senior Football Final, and they're going to the Munster Senior B Championship.
No idea.
So,
silence. My silence is deafening, Matt. I haven't one
your silence
iota.
is deafening, Tom, because you're tongue-tied with looking for an explanation, because
I can't give you one.
I've scratched my head in every part of me, and I can't find any rationale at all for it. You know, but look, park that. Yeah, we'll talk about Elby's, you know.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed with Elby's this year. Like they've been very, very good in Limerick, and you know they missed out in 2020 because of COVID. There was no Munster,
a bit like Adare, I suppose. Yeah.
Munster Championship. There was no Munster Championship. It was suspended that year on account of the pandemic. But like they were really, really looking forward and talking to Sheila, and we had her in here with us, and most a lot of the girls and the management team there, you know, they were really looking forward to the Munster Championship. And look, they have no reason for not looking forward to it yet. But you know, I think they would really have much preferred to have got a better test. Now they're going against a team that have a strong winning ethos. Cork, Munster, All-Ireland Junior champions last year, have made the immediate transition from junior to being Cork intermediate champions. You know, and they're captained by Lorna Mahoney, you know, one of the mainstays of the Cork team for the last couple of years. So, like, they're facing a very, very good team. But Tom, St. Elby's are a very good team. Make no mistake about it now. You know, no mistake whatsoever about it. And I give Elby's a right good chance, Tom.
Yeah. So it's O'Donovan Rassa of would it be Skibbereen or Rascarbery? Yeah, Skibbereen. Yeah.
Skibbereen,
so so look, this should be a good one. That's on Sunday afternoon. It's 3:00 for Mungers, and is it 3:00 on Sunday as well, or is
no,
it
1 o'clock for Elby's on Sunday?
1 o'clock. Sorry, apologies. 1 o'clock for St. Elby's. Also at Mallow this Sunday. So wishing both Limerick sides the very best of luck. Mallow GA Complex, 1 p.m. on Sunday. St. Elby's versus O'Donovan Rassa. I'm sure we're in for two thrilling contests over the weekend. Okay, I think that brings us to the end of the football. We must look at Camogie, Matt, this week. There's Munster action. But
well, you know, there's quite a bit to look at in Camogie this particular week. Look back first, I suppose, and to a very disappointing performance by Newcastle West in the Munster clubs against Galtier from Waterford. Now, having said that, it was a very, very good Galtier side that included as many as 7 of the Waterford senior team. You know, and you're talking about pedigree there. But as I was saying last week, you know, they faced Sarsfields last year and were desperate and lucky to lose the Sarsfields away by a point. And we were trying to analyse it last Sunday or last Saturday in Newcastle West. I spoke to a number of people about it. You know, what went wrong. And there is a consensus, Tom, you know, among Camogie fellows that, you know, Newcastle West wars on Sunday were probably founded, you know, and this is no disrespect to the other teams, in the absence of real good competitive games in the Limerick Championship.
Right, yeah.
They just cruised through the Limerick Championship without getting a test. And that is not, you know, I was referencing that there a while ago when I was saying about St. Elby's, you know, not having a test against Nadesha and Kappa White, you know, that it could militate against them eventually. I think that goes somewhere towards explaining it. Now, they started off like an express train. Rebecca DeLee, after 30 seconds, forced a great save from the, I think the girl's name was Noel Murphy, the Galtier goalkeeper. Down at the butt of the post. Had it gone in and they got a goal, You know, we might be talking about a different, but they more than matched them for the first 10 minutes. But after that, it was as if Newcastle West left the party. You know, very, very disappointed. I'm extremely disappointed for Mike Quaid, his management team, and for the girls, because they've invested so much in it this year. You know, and like I think, you know, and I don't look, I'm not going to offer a solution.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that the lack, you know, and as I said, I discussed it with a number of people back there last Sunday, the aftermath of the match, that the lack of real competition, you know, certainly didn't help Newcastle West going into it.
Yeah. The easy saying is iron sharpens iron. I mean, so, you know, they didn't really get that formidable test, even if it was to squeak over the line in the county final in a humdinger. It would certainly have probably stood them in better stead, like, you know.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that they're complacency or anything like that.
No, but just that real 60-minute test of, you know,
that real championship test is, you know, we saw a real championship game a few hours ago, you and I, you know, and we'll talk briefly about it later. But, you know, they never got that type of game, Tom. No, they didn't get anything resembling it even.
Yeah. Well, look, they're out. So Galtier are playing through Clonlara in that senior final. But the story this week, of course, locally, Matt, is Croke Kilfinny.
Oh yeah, Croke Kilfinny. Yeah, absolutely. You know, and like, you know, they too have been impressive. Like they were very impressive winners against Killiard from Kerry.
Yeah.
In the semi-final. Now Killiard would they be the senior champions in Kerry? No, they'd be intermediate champions.
Yeah. They'd be, well, there's so few clubs, I don't even know are the champions, but they're representative anyway.
They could be maybe a senior team in Kerry. But they had a good win over them, but they had to work for it. You know, Brian Sexton was telling me, you know, going down the home straight, like the game was in the melting pot, which is an ideal way to you know, to go into a final now. Mandeligo, who are the Waterford champions and whom they're playing in Fethard on Sunday, also at 1 o'clock. They beat Lismore in the county final. And they went on then and they travelled up to Clare and beat Clare champions, Tulla, in the semi-final. But, you know, it's very easily forgotten, Tom. You know, that Croke Kilfinny for the last number of years have been languishing in intermediate level. But just to put it to the viewers, they have been 13 times they have won the Limerick Senior Camogie Championship.
Right.
And in 1975, they won the All-Ireland Senior Clubs Camogie Championship. So
they'll be celebrating 50 years of that next year.
Yeah, so this is a club with a proud history and a proud tradition. And they have a team that I have seen this year, and I've been very, very impressed by them. They were hugely impressive in the county final, hugely impressive. You know, and you can just go through that team, and you can see like the like of Breed Hannon, the service Breed Hannon has given to Croke Kilfinny Camogie has been simply phenomenal. You've seen the number of players that have worn the Limerick jersey. You know, Orla Kelleher, absolutely outstanding, and had a very, very good year with Limerick seniors as well. You know, and I'm only just picking them out at random. And of course, you cannot pick them out at random for Croke Kilfinny without picking out a certain Miss Donna.
Yeah, Donna Kenny. Yeah.
Danny Kenny, who is a special player.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm very hopeful. I'm very, very hopeful that they will do what Adare did 3 years ago and win the Munster Junior Clubs Championship.
Yeah, well, they don't need to look too.
Mandeligo, believe it or not, have 2 Waterford seniors. And Hickey and Mairead O'Brien. Mairead O'Brien, who is one of the stars of the Waterford senior team.
She is. Yeah. So, they'll have to work. They'll have their work cut out. Although I'd say
I'm not going to say it is easy, or it will be easy. But I have high hopes for Croke Kilfinny.
Yeah. So 1 p.m. As Matt says on Sunday, that is being in Fethard in County Tipperary. So Crow Kilfinney versus Montelego of Waterford. Okay. Locally matters, a couple of junior finals down for decision.
Absolutely. There are 4 games which will almost bring the curtain down on the domestic Camogie program.
Calendar,
The only thing that will be outstanding after this weekend will be the 12-a-side competition. I think there's some hold up in that. But the action gets underway. There are 2 double headers on Sunday. One is in Cooley-Roo and the other is in Paddy Carroll Park in Ballygran. Starting off at Cooley-Roo at 12 o'clock, we have the Junior B Championship plate.
Don't mention it. Don't mention the play.
I could do worse than call it a saucer, Tom. Plate between Tournafulla and Ballygran. 2 clubs with a great tradition. You must remember this is Junior B. It's only 13 years since Ballygran won the County Senior Championship. You know, and like Crow Kilfinney, in 1978, Ballygran were All-Ireland Senior Camogie champions. So there's a great tradition there as well. Now, Tournafulla are a long-standing club, you know, which have given, have given them many players to Limerick, and most notably this year gave Cora Long. Who is Cora Long? You might ask. Cora Long was outstanding for the Limerick under-16 team that won the All-Ireland.
Right, she's
playing at left half back.
She's eligible here.
Oh, she's eligible here. Yeah, she's eligible.
Under-16s can play. Yeah.
So that is on at 12 o'clock, and it will be followed by the. That was the cup final.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, you got them crossed over.
That's between cups, plates, and saucers.
Right, go on. The Junior B plate final then that's the cup.
Yeah, no, look away with your cup. The Junior B plate, the Junior B cup final is between Tournafulla and Ballygran.
Right.
And the Junior B plate final, which is on at 2 o'clock in Cooley-Roo, Quaid Park in Cooley-Roo, is between Ahan and Bruff.
Yeah, 2 second teams. So in Cooley-Roo. Yes, very good.
Flash over to Paddy Carroll Park, and at 12 o'clock, you have the I better get this right. The Junior A Championship plate final between Feeny-Kilmeedy and Mungret St. Paul's.
Yeah.
12 noon. And then at 2 o'clock, you have the Junior A Championship Cup final between Blackrock Effin and Doon.
Yeah.
So there's plenty to look forward to in Limerick Camogie, plenty to look forward to locally in Limerick Camogie. Now, Blackrock Effin are very strong, and this is their 3rd final, you know, and they're coming up against the Doon team that have made huge strides in the last number of years, including winning the B Championship to get up, and are certainly upwardly mobile, but probably would not be as far down the road in development as Blackrock Effin are.
Yeah, no.
Nevertheless, it's a final, and finals are finals, Tom.
Yeah, no. The baggage maybe that with Blackrock Effin have is something that Doon don't have, so maybe might weigh back in their favour in that one. So that's the domestic action in Camogie. Matt, we must move to hurling. I know the clock is, as always, is racing away from us. We mentioned it a couple of times already. The Munster clubs action did not go anywhere near where people would have liked. 3 teams in, 3 teams out, just like that, blink of an eye. 3 county champions out. We'll I think we'll go from bottom to top in this case. Saturday saw Feeny-Kilmeedy head to Waterford, and they were inched out. I think wasn't it 2 points in the end. In Waterford,
they were edged out
junior championship.
19 points to 17.
That's correct. Yeah.
The Waterford senior Patrick Fitzgerald did a lot of damage down there.
13 points, I think it was. Yeah.
But you know, I've had excuses for Feeny-Kilmeedy during the week about the they overdid celebrations. I don't know whether they did or they didn't.
Right.
But what I would say to you is they were entitled to celebrate to their heart's content, and I'll tell you why. They lost the Junior A, the Premier final last year in dramatic circumstances to Mungret. They lost the Premier Junior football final to Newcastle West again in dramatic circumstances. They narrowly lost the Munster Junior Clubs final, hurling clubs final last year. And after 3 defeats, if they pick up a win, they're entitled to celebrate.
Yeah, and had they lost the junior football final the year before as well?
I think, yeah. But what they would not be entitled to, in my opinion, is to have to go out 7 days after winning a county championship. Now, I don't know whether they over-celebrated or not, but you could apply the same to Newcastle West, and you probably could apply the same to Doon.
Yeah, all three of them had 7 days.
Who's going to be a spoil sport and a killjoy to stop fellas of celebrating after winning a county final after a long season?
Yeah.
And we're very hung up in getting these championships finished in the calendar year. And what I would say with regard to the scheduling of fixtures in Limerick, Tom, we can find no fault with them. They didn't waste a single weekend. There wasn't a single hour. There wasn't a single opportunity to play a game missed. And this frantic rush into the Munster Clubs Championship. Yeah. Now, do we start the week earlier in Limerick? Or what?
Not really possible, is it?
It's not really possible.
Yeah.
So what's the answer?
Yeah, if Limerick had reached the All-Ireland final, which they were one score away from doing so, that would have thrown that into jeopardy. But even still, you wouldn't have wanted senior any players at any of the grades playing an All-Ireland final or a semi-final and then immediately having to go back into clubs. Now, it has happened at Premier Intermediate more often than not, but that's who this is catered for. I mean, we can't look when I don't want to discuss this ad nauseum now, Matt, to be honest with you this week. But I mean, the thing I think, and I'm not pointing blame here at the county board. They have their championships as they are, but maybe the way the calendar is set up now, there's probably time for a review of them in terms of the formatting of them.
But that comes back to the point that you made to the two boys.
Yeah,
it's a good point.
Yeah, do we condense them slightly? Now, look, again, I don't know, do I fully agree with that either, because you could end up with the Cork scenarios where scoring difference comes into it a lot of time, and then you could end up with clubs, going out to try and hammer teams, which I suppose they're trying to do anyway. But it's tricky. I don't really blame too many people for this. Luck of the draw didn't help either in any of these scenarios. I wouldn't be. And look, we've been critical of fixtures by our own county board this season in terms of days and times and all the rest. But I wouldn't be so hard on them here now, in fairness.
Yeah, no. We're on two totally different issues on this, Tom. I would be critical of having too many matches on, and having 6 county senior football championship matches on one Thursday night. I would be critical of that, and I'll criticise it till the cows come home. But I certainly will not. I'll give due credit where it is due. And I think they availed of every possible weekend possible, to meet these deadlines. And may I say this? Limerick have 100% record when it comes to meeting Munster Championship deadlines, unlike Waterford and Tipperary.
And Kerry have missed out in the football before, haven't they? But teams not completing their championship. That's true. So they were, despite 14 points from Diarmuid Coleman, Fianna Kilmeady squares out Patrick Fitzgerald, to be fair to him, hit 8 from play among his 13, so a bit of a shootout between those two. Didn't go their way for Fianna, but they've done their job of winning the county. They'll be hoping to give the intermediate grade a fair old rattle next season. We're looking up the grades, Matt. I was in Newcastle West on Sunday.
Yeah, you talk about that one, Tom.
Oh my God. Well, I was scratching my head. The minute the game was over, I was saying, well, that is one that Newcastle West will be seeding at. They were 5 points up with the best part of 15 minutes of action left to go. There was a couple of minutes to stop it, so we'll call it last 17 minutes. They conceded 8 points unanswered. If you told me when they were 5 up, if they didn't concede a goal, I said, well, they'll be winning this hurling match because they had all the momentum, but suddenly points were flying over from all angles. Devon Ryan, of course, we were discussing him, Matt, ourselves off air. Devon Ryan hit 4 of those, or hit 3 of those, sorry, and then another 4 from, the name escapes me now. He hit 9 in total. He got man of the match. Owen Connolly, yeah. So between them, they hit 17 of the 20 points for Cashel King Cormac's in Newcastle West on Sunday. And like Brian Nix scored a goal after 15 seconds. I thought they were on to a great afternoon. He won a goal early in the second half of well-worked team move. He added a point soon after. Con Hayes added a point. Or Cahill, sorry, added a point. It was all going swimmingly until it wasn't. And then suddenly 8 points in a row. And look, a couple of Hail Mary efforts at the end trying to force a goal. It didn't come. They went from 5 up to 3 down, and they chipped away at it till they got it back to a point. But then the clock beat them. I think this is one that most definitely got away. And like, they didn't. I don't know if they over-celebrated. That shouldn't even be a thing. But they just... Yeah, Cashel had 3 weeks off to be fresh for this. Newcastle West had a week, you know.
This is the thing, and I met a couple of them on Saturday at the Camogie match, and everything seemed, the totally fully focused, and and I believe them that they didn't over celebrate, that they quickly focused. I think they celebrated on Monday, and that was it. Brought the curtain down on it, and. Very, very disappointing for a good team, because had they got over that, the sky would have been the limit for them, I think.
Yeah.
The confidence it would have brought into them, like in many ways for Newcastle West, as I said to a couple of them, the transition from county to Munster, Newcastle West weren't strangers to it, because they knew it from the football.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, that's what it takes psychologically. They understood that, and what temperament was needed for provincial as distinct against county. And I was just heartbroken for him, Tom, when I saw the result. I just said to myself, hell.
Yeah, very disappointed. It would have been Abbey Dorney of Kerry, who, I think is a very winnable semi-final for Cashel, in fairness, and would have been a winnable one for Newcastle West. So. Oh, they'll be scratching their heads at that. But as Derry McMahon said to me after, he couldn't be prouder of his charges. They went through. They went through 7 group games, semi-final, final in Limerick, and only Blackrock beat them by a point in what was effectively a dead rubber. In Limerick, and beaten by a point. So the last two of the 9 games, is it? 2 of the 9 games, and they were both by a point. They won some of those other games by much convincing scores than that, very, very competitive.
It's the hard luck story of the year, and for me it's the disappointment of the year nearly at this stage, because I know we'll be talking about those things at a later date, and like I don't know, what would have done. Winning the county has done an awful lot for hurling in Newcastle West, but if you were to make a good run in the Munster Championship, you would have done it for the whole county. It was hugely important for Limerick hurling, as good as when at the level we're at. We have a senior team in the county town.
Yeah, no, it's big. Yeah, no, we'll see. They're in the group of death next year. I think it's going to be. It's going to be hammer and tongs next year in that group. I tell you, I don't think that Newcastle West should, and I don't think they will have any inhibitions going into it. No, I don't think so. But you could, if you asked 100 people, Matt, who would be relegated, you'd get all 6 teams named, I'm sure. And who would win it? You'd probably get all 6, and who will get the quarterfinal spot? All 6 will be named by people as well. So I'd say it's going to be wide open. It's going to be very exciting, and I think Newcastle West will add to that. Okay, the Munster.
You see how Drummond and Clack adjusted to it.
Yeah. Won the first 2 games, and won the first 2, and were just inched out in the other 3.
People would have written them off at the beginning of the year and said, look, they're relegation fodder.
Yeah,
No.
no, they were saved after 2 games, more or less. Yeah,
Dead safe after 2 games,
yeah.
And I remember interviewing Keane Scully after it, and I said to him, you've consolidated well. Relegation is now off the agenda. He said, "We never spoke about that.
Right. Yeah.
We
They were looking up.
were never thinking about relegation,
Yeah. Okay. The final hurling game to discuss this week. From the Munster. We'll come to the Junior B final in a minute. The final game to discuss on the Munster thing
Why
is.
do people putting off the Junior B final?
We're coming to it because we have to do Munster first. Doon and Ballygunner, Matt. Doon and Ballygunner. Doon led us by 4
I only
4
saw
points.
bits of it, Tom.
Yeah.
Again, I'm very disappointed for Doon.
4 up at half time.
I think huge credit is due to Doon. And you can talk about celebrations all your life, but here were a team that got broke through the glass ceiling at last.
Yeah.
They were bloody well entitled to celebrate, Tom.
I'd say they should be still celebrating, to be honest with you. Now.
We had Pat Ryan in here last week,
Yeah.
And Pat left us in no doubt, that Munster meant a lot to him.
Oh, it did, yeah. Well,
and that they were giving it their best shot, and they did.
Yeah, the theory should be.
Say, and I discussed it with people over since. Had Doon had a fortnight, it comes back to the old chestnut.
Yeah.
The quick turnaround.
Mm.
Had Doon had a fortnight, I would be pretty confident that they'd lower the colours of Ballygunner.
Yeah, they're throwing the cat amongst the pigeons in terms of the All-Ireland, because that championship looks wide open. Apart from Ballygunner, all the clubs that are still in the mix are basically new entities at that level. So it's that would have been the one. But fairness, Pat Ryan, whatever we'd said to him last week, Matt, he was, by all accounts, he was in inspired form come Sunday. Now I don't know, do we have anything to do with that? But look, we'll take.
No, we didn't have anything to do with it, because I stopped short of saying to him last week, that he was having an absolutely smashing season, which he is.
He finished it out, albeit in defeat, but he finished out with a terrific individual display. Stephen O'Keefe,
we're absolutely delighted for the guy. Absolutely, not because he came on with us, but I'm absolutely delighted for him, because Pat Ryan has given so much, and when we asked him the question last week, he was very, very quick to reflect back on the minor under 20 days, 21 days.
Oh, I didn't forget them at all.
Great credit him, great credit due to him.
Yeah.
You would be expecting, it wasn't the answer that I was expecting, but it was an answer that I greatly admired.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, the story of this game, obviously, Doon led by 4 at half time. They were still 4 up when Jack Ryan went through in goal. Stephen O'Keefe pulled off a superb save. And in fairness to Ballygunner, that seemed to be the lightning bolts for them to shoot into action up the other end, and they ended up winning it by 5. But lessons learned, I'm sure, for Doon. But look, they got their Holy Grail, Matt. I'm sure they'd love to be still in the Munster, but they got the Holy Grail of the Daily Cup. 130 Limerick hurling finals. They finally got championships held. They finally got a hold of the bit of silverware. So,
Tom, when you think of that, it's absolutely fantastic that they got it. And you can get a team that will come from nowhere and get it. But the contribution that they have made in the last 130 years to the cause of Limerick hurling, Tom, has been simply phenomenal.
Yeah.
At all levels. And this is a club that fielded 4 adult teams this year. Need we say any more?
Yeah, I know. Was there any other club that had 4? I don't think there was. Is there?
I don't think so.
No.
You must remember that this is a small town.
Yeah.
Out on the Tipperary border.
It's a village, Matt. It's not even a town. It is.
And the population that they would have to draw from wouldn't be massive.
No,
that they put out 4 adult teams. I don't think, anybody can't have anything but the utmost admiration for what they have achieved. And it's simply fantastic for Doon hurling and fantastic for Limerick. See him make the breakthrough. And no matter how Darragh O'Donovan protests, they're now one of the big 4.
Oh yeah, they're certainly. Oh well, they're top of the big four now, Matt, because they
Yeah.
have they have the cup in their possession. Okay, the domestic adult season. I know we've under 21s to come, but in terms of adult grades, Matt, came to a shuddering halt last Sunday evening in Park Drumalogue in Piershig. It was the city final. It was the county final. It was Kildare Pallaskenry against Ballybrown. Before we talk about the game, right, and I will talk
Did
about
it
it.
double up, Tom? Did it?
It did, yeah. It was confirmed to me going in the gate. So Kildare and Pallaskenry are city and county champions. Before we talk about that game, Matt, right? Something I just it dawned on me even before this match was played, and it certainly dawned on me afterwards. Limerick's adult hurling championships concluded last Sunday, as I said. Some 7 finals, right? 6 of them decided by a score. So we had Doon by 1 in the senior. We had Newcastle West, the biggest winners in any county final this year, by 4 points. Croke Kilfinney won the intermediate by a point. Fianna Kilmeady won the Premier Junior by 3. Monaleen won the Junior A by 2. Kildare Pallaskenry won this Junior B by 2. And Hospital Herbestown won the Junior C by 2. And that one was after extra time. So, I mean, like, what more can you ask for if you're a neutral at those games? Like, it, tight finals, plenty of drama, plenty of excitement. And as well, actually, Matt, first time winners, Doon, first time senior, Newcastle West, first time Premier Intermediate, Croke, first time intermediate. The Premier Junior grade is kind of new. Fianna's first for the first winners. Okay, Monaleen hadn't won the Junior A in 50-something years, 52 or 3 years. Kildare Pallaskenry, so 53 years. So their third title. But Kildare Pallaskenry's first Junior B title, and Hospital Herbestown's first Junior C title. So a year of firsts, a year of tight finals. Like, it's brilliant. Like, when we round it out. Like,
anybody dare tell me the grading is wrong in Limerick?
Yeah, no, it has gotten stronger and better because we've added in the last 2 seasons now. We've added in the Junior C last season, and we've added in the Premier Junior now, we'll say, for this season. So it's, in fairness, it's working. There could be in time be another grade if there's more teams and whatever. But at the moment, I think we've a nice, lovely balance across the grades. The fact that the years of 24 teams in a grade, thankfully, are over, Matt. And this sort of thing wasn't any good, so it's
no, but Tom, just before we go away from hurling, we're going to have a crash course over the next 3 weeks of under 20 hurling.
Oh yes, we are, yeah.
And the under 20 football championship is starting this weekend. And
they've redone the groups again, I believe.
Well, I don't know what they've done, but
jiggery pokery.
The number of walkovers that has been in this in the past, sends out the wrong message. And I find this very hard to credit, Tom. Clubs sit down at the start of the year and they say to themselves, what are we fielding in? A, B, C, and I'd say paying insurance on it as well.
Yeah.
A, B, C, D. Lo and behold, when the championship comes, they can't field the team.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah, look, the counter argument is at the 20s grade as it is now. It is a difficult one. Some fellas will tell you they're playing. It's at that age where fellas are some fellas might be in a take it or leave it sort of mode. You might think you have 23, suddenly 5 or 6 of them are gone off playing rugby or soccer or not playing any sport, or they have a new girlfriend, or they're in college in Cork or Waterford or whatever, and suddenly they're not committing, and suddenly you're certain that your numbers may dwindle. It is a tricky one. I know, I understand your gripe, but it's very difficult for clubs, some of the rural clubs I think in particular, but I suppose maybe clubs need to have a stronger look at their resources before they tick the box, of saying they're going to put in a team. And if there's to be amalgamations, let them be at this grade, but try and have that ironed out, good and early in the season, because drawing up fixtures and all the rest of it.
Yeah, but it's very unfair to the teams that they're down to play against. I have back in this, and people will say now that have been watching this podcast for a number of years, there he goes again, but I am going again. Now, Piercy got into the Limerick Intermediate Football Championship 3 years ago. They were to have 5 games in their group, and they got 2 walkovers in the Intermediate Championship.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay, look, we've to cover a couple of more items. In fairness, I did skim over Kildare Pallaskenry's Junior B win over the weekend, a 2-point win over Ballybrown. worthy winners, I might say, are Aaron O'Donovan with the I suppose you could call it the winning goal. Cian Hayes captained the team. He hit 3 points from centre forward, and John Chalk kept goal. And I would say his goal led a charmed life at times, in fairness, in the second half. Ballybrown a little bit unlucky not to raise a second green flag of their own, but 2-13 to 1-14 it finished. And as you said, Matt, about the Junior B football win for St. Kieran's, I mentioned names there, John Chalk and Cian Hayes, men who've soldiered for this club. John Chalk is in his early 40s now at this stage, and that'll show you the value of keeping on to those fellas and keeping them involved.
Yeah, but I told you earlier on, was it in the last podcast that I met him? I was just talking to him briefly at a game recently, and he was as enthusiastic about it as if it was his first championship.
Yeah,
They weren't in the final at that stage.
No, they got there with a win over Ballingarry and beat Ballybrown. So they're heading to the Munster series, and we saw Monleen last year. We've seen what Limerick teams can do in this grade. So they'll. I know Monleen lost the Munster final, but won the All Ireland series. So I think Kildare and Pallaskenry will be, I suppose, licking their lips at the prospects of having a run on this themselves.
I think they will. We've only won 2 All Irelands in the grade, and the 2 teams that won the All Ireland lost the Munster finals and reversed the result in the All Ireland.
Monleen and who's the other one?
Doon.
Okay.
2015, I think, was Doon. Yeah.
Yeah, but
the Monleen. We were nearly a decade waiting for an All Ireland win, and of course, Cappamore lost an All Ireland final. Granabella or St. Mary's Sean Finn's, which are now Rathkeil, they lost an All Ireland final. But we've had clubs getting. Did Temple Glanton lose one? They certainly won Munster.
Yeah.
Okay. They've got there, but it was the Monleen run was fantastic last year. It was there that I got first sight of Max Ivory, which we spoke about last week. And he lit up that particular competition. But I know he lit up the final again 2 weeks ago now. But it's a great competition, and full credit due to Killeedy, for the manner in which they organise it, Tom. The manner in which they organise it. The logistics of it are huge. But by God, is it well organised, Tom?
Yeah, and that's on the horizon. So for them, and indeed Kildare and Pallaskenry, who will represent Limerick at the grade. Okay, Matt, we've covered loads there. There's one other thing, and it's a small matter of Martina McMahon, handball world titles. They're always in the same sentence, those few words, aren't they?
Well, Martina McMahon and world champion, they go together. They're synonymous,
Hand in glove, they say. Yeah.
And hand in glove, but she just defies gravity. She's simply phenomenal when you consider the injury woes that she's had, and to come back. Now she won the 4-wall doubles last Sunday. She beat herself, and Aoife McCarthy won the final in a tiebreaker. But earlier in the day, she had to settle for runner-up in the singles. She was beaten by this lady from Galway, the Coroner, I think is her name, in a tiebreaker. We talk about the turnover of a week, Tom. This is a turnover of a few hours between major finals. One of them was on a 10 and the other was on a 2. And to have to go to a tiebreaker in both. I think there's something inherently unfair about it. But look, Martina McMahon rises above that. She's one of the greatest sports people that this county has ever produced. She's a phenomenal sportswoman. That makes it 6 world titles she has won.
Right.
I think she would struggle. And struggle badly, to count what major titles she has won in Ireland. I'd say she's lost count of them.
Yeah, and I'd say she probably
She
stuck for
is
space.
she's a
Yeah,
phenomenal athlete and a phenomenal individual, phenomenal person.
yeah. Well, congratulations to Martina. She's affiliated, Matt, with the Broadford club, but she's isn't she native of is it Croke? Is that correct?
Yes, and that just reminds me. Now she's the sister of Tom McMahon, who was the joint captain of Kappa last Sunday, and who was a member of the successful Croke Kilfinney intermediate team. And I'm pretty sure, that she played camogie at underage age level for Limerick. She was an extremely good camogie player and played with Croke Kilfinney.
And junior level, I think, as well.
An extremely good camogie player, and was certainly a loss to Limerick camogie when she opted to go full time with the handball. And you can't blame her with the success that she has enjoyed. Absolutely fantastic, and all of us in Limerick, it's one of the minority sports. It's it doesn't get enough coverage in my view. But we're talking here about a phenomenal Limerick athlete.
Yeah, we certainly are. Yeah,
and sports person, and there's no harm in saying it, no harm in emphasizing it.
Yeah. So congratulations to Martina on a 6th world title. As Matt says, losing count. I'm sure she's lost has no room now for all the medals, the awards, the trophies, and all that. But what a great problem to have. But congratulations to Martina, and that indeed all connected with the club and indeed her partner in the doubles. So. Matt, I think that's where the clock should probably beat us.
Tom,
what else? Go on.
We have the little matter of all stars.
Oh my word! How did we slip? How did this slip the agenda?
One of my favourite subjects.
Right. Well, just to give it the intro, right?
I make a sensational statement. I'm reasonably happy with this year's ones.
Right. Yeah.
I would be an awful lot happier.
To get off.
I would be an awful lot happier if Adam Gillan had got one. Much happier because I think he deserves it. Not at the expense of Ger Hegarty. Ger Hegarty deserved it as well. But I thought the two of them should have got it. Thanks be to God, Nicky Quaid has got it third. It's about half of what he deserves. But he's getting there. Dan Morrissey, Kyle Hayes, great to see him. Congratulations to the lads. They're really, you're talking about guys that are multi-all-stars. Tom, I think you had it up. Nicky has 3, Kyle Hayes has 5, Dan Morrissey has 4. Is it 3 Garrod has?
I'm double checking here now. You're right with the 5 for Kyle Hayes. 5 for Kyle Hayes in a row as well, Matt.
Yeah, in a row. Yeah.
Yeah, just the 5 in a row from 2020
Absolutely
up to
justified.
Yeah. We've been so consistent, and obviously Young Hurler of the Year in 2018. So he's been collecting individual awards for some time now. Yeah, Garrod Hegarty 4. This time a corner forward. Nicky Quaid, his third All-Star. Kyle Hayes is 5th in a row, 5th in all. And as you say, Dan Morrissey with 4, and this one a cornerback that kind of just shoehorned him in there. But I don't think there was anyone. Well, there was a few, but very few people should have been surprised with Dan Morrissey's inclusion. The rock at the back for Limerick. They were beaten only twice this year by a score. So I mean, it couldn't have been that poor, lads, for anyone that was arguing against him.
Definitely deserved it. I thought. I'm disappointed for him. I thought he'd have a very, very good year. At times he really, really hit the high spots. But we have 4 players with 16 All-Stars between them. We'd be lucky to get. There was a time when we'd be lucky to get 2. I think we got about 2 All-Stars in maybe 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. Well, we were happy before to get nominations, Matt. If you get
a nomination, it was a big thing.
Yeah. Now it's we're dying. We're dining at a different table. But look, that was the All-Star team. Cathal O'Neill just missed out in the Young Hurler of the Year category.
Again, an argument could be made for Cathal O'Neill to get an All-Star.
You could, yeah. Now, look, I suppose I think what counted against Limerick big time here. Now, bear in mind there was only 3 teams selected, players from 3 different teams. Limerick weren't in the final, and look, if you can't have it everywhere, I would argue, trying to be a bit impartial about this. Like Limerick in 2021, gosh, was it 12 or 13? Was it 12? Yeah, 12. Like Limerick's dominance in the final meant they were going to sweep the boards, and rightly so. And look, there was no dominant team in this year's final, but in fairness to Cork and Clare, there was merit in a number of the awards they got. I wouldn't argue against a lot of their selections, you know. And
Tom,
Limerick probably...
It's about the best hurlers.
Yeah. Oh, no, I know that, but like they played on the big day and they delivered. In fairness to Tony Kelly, you could argue he shouldn't have got one, but...
Not arguing about Tony Kelly, you could make a compelling argument, I suppose, for John Conlon, you know?
Yeah, you could. I know people were saying Cian Kenny of Kilkenny was very consistent all year, but he missed out as well. Like, but what about the fact as well? You know, only three counties, no one from Leinster, no one from Kilkenny. You know, that's it's what's rare is maybe wonderful. We never thought we'd see it. We did. No Kilkenny man on the All-Star team.
It hasn't happened in the 53 years of the awards.
Which hasn't the all from the one province?
All from the one province.
Yeah. Now I suppose the new format lends itself to that a bit more as well, doesn't it? Because you know previously you'd have had the straight knockout. Invariably, the Leinster winners would have got a couple, regardless of what they did beyond that. Like, but yeah, no, it's look, another 4 in the bag for Limerick, and I'm sure the lads enjoyed their celebrations over the weekend. With that one, and congratulations I think to their clubs too, who've I'm sure pushed them all the way down the years, Effin, Ahan, Gildoyne, Pallaskenry and St. Patrick's in this case, and in fairness to the 4 of them, they were impressive enough, I'm sure, in their club campaigns as well. Okay, Matt, I think that covers it all for us this weekend. Another lengthy podcast, but this time of year it's all the business end, the championships and the meaty stuff, so we're trying to give everyone their due, and this one. Thanks a million for those who've listened. Do feel free to share with a friend or indeed a family member. We'll grow the listenership and we'll talk more about Gaelic games in the